I am Manaka and welcome to my channel, Manaka. Oh, life is lifing. Like, the fact that our parents warned us about adulting, but you know, I wish they had given us more detail. Like, adulting is about not being able to afford your favorite loaf of bread. It's about not being able to eat that ice cream that you wanted every single day, like you wanted to. Child, then. So recently, Pluto went into Aquarius. I wanted to talk a little bit about astrology. Okay. So Pluto went into Aquarius, right? And that means that it's more likely to affect those with prominent Pluto and Aquarius placements. It doesn't have to be prominent like it's just your sun sign or whatever. When I say prominent, it literally just means, okay, you have, you might not feel it. If it's like one placement, you might feel it more if it's like a stellium. And a stellium is if you have 3 or more planets in your chart of the same sign. So for me, I'm here with that little birdie. Abusing him to give me comfort because I don't have a blanket at work. You know what? I like warmth, and I'm not saying it's cold outside, but inside it's, yeah, it's very interesting. So the last 15 years, I think it's 15 years, Pluto was in Capricorn. I have a stellium in Capricorn and I have a stellium in Cancer. So the sister signs of, I believe it's family and home and work and career were affected for me. And it's crazy because the last 15 years, I was in high school. Wait, how old am I? Yeah, I was in high school. It was near the end of high school. So I think 2008 is when it started. And it's crazy because if you actually align it to my life, that was when shit started becoming a bit weird. I didn't live with my mom anymore. I had to live with my cousin. Home life was not so great. Work was it was a time when I was starting to work. So you know, like the closer you get to 18 or just after 18, you start to try find certain ways to make money for yourself, right? It's embedded, okay. I think it's let me just check, because there's certain times in our lives or years when these planets mature, and planets have to do with a lot that we're dealing with, and a lot of people don't notice it because these aren't things to notice. You don't, like, it's not something that everybody will notice. Let me just find it quickly. Okay, yeah. So around the age where Pluto went into Capricorn was around when I was 17. And that's after my 16th year when my Jupiter had matured. Now Jupiter has to do with luck. Jupiter has to do with core wisdom, right? And that makes sense because that's a lot of the time when us kids think we know everything. And mind you, I'm just doing this video to like put my thoughts somewhere. I write down a lot, I talk a lot. My best spiritual friend is not at work, so I have to put it somewhere. I'm still probably going to talk to her about it, but I wanted to talk about it here first. So that's obviously a time where I believe I know what's best for myself, and crazy enough, it went into these houses. It was affecting the houses of obviously home and career. And that's when I moved, and that's when I moved a lot in the last 15 years actually. Even in my long-term relationship, we have moved quite a bit, but the home life was crazy when it first started, and just like they're saying this year is what do they call it? It's the beginning, or it's the preview to what the next 15 years is going to look like, or 20 years. It's actually been an interesting thing to like look at. I think it's 20 years. Is it 15 or 20? Let me Google that before I lie. Let me not lie. Year. Huh? What? Oh my god, I'm just gonna say 15 to 20 because what I'm googling right now is weird. What the fuck? Pluto return. Pluto return. Let's say that. That still doesn't give me anything. Anyway, so yeah, it's crazy when you think about it because there's so many other factors that happen. For example, my Venus matured when I was 25, so obviously that's when I believed I knew more about love. It's when I believed I knew more about beauty, you know. But trust me, I was still learning. It's the same time frame, I guess, when my Saturn return was also coming through. So all those lessons of the Saturn square and the Saturn opposition, all of it, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like, so many things happen in these little pockets that you can't really put it all on one thing. Like right now, yes, a lot of astrologers are looking at Pluto, and Pluto being in Aquarius, and ooh, it's a new thing, Aquarius is in Leos, ooh, it's your time, whatever. But also it has so much to do with other things. Like, have you actually been working to better yourself? Have you actually been working to get to the point where you want to be in the next 20 years, you know? Like, for me, Aquarius is in the 11th house and Leo is in the 5th house. The 11th house, give me a second. I don't have all these things in my head like exactly, but I will tell you right now. 11th house has to do with social interactions, friendships, aspirations, and I think it's dreams. Yeah, personal dreams and fulfillment of personal growth and fulfillment of dreams, right? So right now I'm very focused on my dreams. I'm very focused on what it is that I want to do and where I want to get to in life. I am turning 33 this year, which is such a beautiful fucking number. Such a beautiful number. But I still have to look at what is going on in my chart. So Aquarius being in the 11th house, and I only have one planet in Aquarius, which is my Saturn. And Saturn has to do with karma. So if I have been, say, looking at things or doing things with a pure heart and not particularly trying to backstab or fuck people over, then I should be getting back really good karma in the next 20 years, 15 to 20 years. And that for me is exciting because I really believe I have been putting my best foot forward. I've been trying my best to be the best that I can be for myself and for other people. And yes, my best, because I'm looking at my own lens, doesn't mean it's the best for others. So I'm not saying that I was the greatest person to other people. I'm just saying I was doing what I thought was best. That makes sense. And like literally, if we had to put a projector, take away emotions, we would all see what happened. But we are all still within life. We are still humans, and the emotions are unfortunately still part of it. Which, and it's not an unfortunate thing. It's a good thing. It's not an unfortunate thing. And then Leo. Leo is in my 5th house. I don't know. Give me a second. 5th house. My desires, my creativity, my individual. And Leo also has to do with royalty, so, and fame. So we'll see, because I do have a couple of planets in this. I have Mercury, which is communication. Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Mercury, which is communication. Mars, which is more or less the things that I would fight for, and aggression. But like, there's also the good side of it. And then what's that one? Jupiter, which is luck. So like for me, when I see these planets, it feels like everything's going to be up and up. But I mean, obviously that has to do with where my mindset is at and what I have worked on in the last couple of years. And also looking at it, 33, let me see if there's anything happening at 33. No, nothing really is happening at 33. But because I'm just finishing off my 32nd year of life, there is a lot of maturity. Oh, my 32nd year of life actually was Mercury. So a lot of the maturation that needed to happen in my life has. So I am mainly at my peak, but I will be at my peakest at 48. But right now I'm mainly at my peak because majority of my planets have matured. But then again, remember there's two sides to everything. There will always be a yin and a yang, there will always be a dark and a light, and there will always be the bad and the good. So I'm not saying that there aren't any bad sides to either of the things that will be happening, because as I said, I had to go through different types of jobs for a very long time before getting into the job that I have currently. And even in the job that I have currently, I feel like it has shifted and changed so much. And even to a point where I still had to ask myself at the beginning of the year, like, what is it that I actually do? You know, but that's something that you, as you grow, you have to find out and realize, you know. So, and okay, so that's all I wanted to say actually, is that those are the kinds of things that you need to look at in your chart. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be great, like I was saying. It means that these are the things that are going to be highlighted. But as I said, everything is always, it's like things are always just happening, you know. And I think the beauty of knowing something like astrology is that you will be more likely to be able to know how to navigate these things. What is it? Oh yes. And then I'm excited because actually I started realizing recently that the Leo being the sign of fame and all of that, or being popularity or being popular, that's also something in my profile in human design, the fifth line of being somebody who draws people in. And it's weird. Oh, it's so weird, because like I wouldn't call them fans. I'm not gonna call anybody who's my subscriber or my follower or whatever, who people I interact with, not fans. I can't think of a word right now. Like, we're not friends yet, and I think we will be friends, because if you love anything spiritual, trust me, we'll be friends. I'm like that kind of girl. Like, if you like spiritual stuff, as long as our personalities are gelling, oh my goodness. Listen, I can talk about this forever. And then but anyway, I realized something. So one of my subscribers or followers on Twitter said to me that she was excited about talking to me, and I'm like, bruh. Not to take away from her excitement, like, I like that, but it's weird because there's actually quite a few people who tend to do that. Like, they will see me on YouTube, or they will see my Twitter posts and stuff like that, and then they'll tell me, like, in private, like maybe months, maybe even years later, and be like, yo, I really like your content and you've helped me so much. And I'm just like, huh? And I get it. It has to do with there's this gate that I have. Oh, which gate is it? Oh my god, I don't know which gate it is. I will put it down at the bottom. There's this gate that I have. I actually have the channel, so it allows me to bring it up better or work through it better. But there's a gate that has to do with being recognized to be a leader, right? And I've always been so hard on myself in terms of my videos and all of that. And mind you, I started YouTube to build my confidence, right? Which it's actually worked. It's working. But literally this channel has to do with being invited. So you have the wisdom of a leader, right? But you also need to be invited to be recognized as a leader, to show face in front of people. Like, you can be a leader who sort of moves around places in the background, right? But there are leaders who literally, the reason why they do so well as leaders who show their faces and show up in public and all of that is because they have that gate that allows them to do that. And I have that gate as well, but I've always been like, I don't want to be in front of people. But I mean, technically I am, so but it's been really interesting to see, especially with my Mercury being in Leo. This is how I communicate. I'm fiery. People actually listen to my words, and it's weird. It's weird. I'm not saying stop. It's just weird. It's just one of those things. Like, I don't know how famous people do it. Honestly, I'm not saying I'm famous. No. But I don't know how famous people do it. How do you get to a point where somebody treats you differently to what they would treat like somebody they just met? And the excitement for me is crazy, but I appreciate it because there's a lot of people that I want to help, and I feel so great when I get somebody actually acknowledging and telling me that, listen, you have helped me out. And I'm like, really? I don't need the acknowledgement. I love words of affirmation. That's my love language. But I don't expect it from people I don't know. If that makes sense. Anyway, so I think the best thing that we need to do, you need to start getting into astrology. If you don't know much about astrology, find an astrologer that's going to help you out with astrology. There's this app. What's this app called? There's an app called The Pattern that you can also download and find out certain spaces and places that you're in. I don't use it a lot. I'm very bad with apps. Oh, I'm so bad with apps. But I'm trying to get back into using it a lot because I tend to learn on the fly. That's my one line in my profile where if I find something that looks exciting, I will research the shit out of that shit, and by the end of it, I will be one of the people who will be talking to you about that thing that I read up on. I'm just that kind of person. So yeah, but I think for those who aren't that great at learning as quickly as I am, I think just get into astrology. Find out that literally the sun sign is absolutely nothing. I am lucky that my sun sign is also the same sign as my moon sign and my north node, because that makes me very Cancerian. But that's not just the parts of me. There's certain things that are, I have a Cancer stellium, I have a Leo stellium, I have a Capricorn stellium. Like, I am all three of these things. And it's crazy because sometimes sister signs tend to mimic each other and mirror each other, and like most of the people that I have as friends right now are Aquariuses, and those are the ones that I'm like drawn to, but they're also the ones that like I'm just like bruh. Bruh. But it makes sense. Those are, because it's a sister sign in my chart, that's somebody I have to look at and look at the mirroring that they do to me, and I have to learn from them, you understand? It's the same as Capricorn. I have both Capricorn and Cancer, but I also have to learn how to balance the two. So yeah, I also have a lot of friends who have Scorpio. Do I have Scorpio in my chart? Do I? Oh, I have Pluto and Scorpio. Which is interesting. Which is very interesting. But I think, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I think if there's anything you want to know about human design or astrology, I'm not an expert. Listen, I don't do readings because I'm an expert. I do readings because I love to gather information for other people. That shit excites me. I want to gather that information and give it to you, and then you do with it what you will. But oh, I love that stuff so much. I love it. That's why I do readings, not because I'm an expert. I think it's it's so like what I've seen when it comes to human design and astrology. There's so much that goes into it. There's so much work there's just so much that it's difficult to say somebody's an expert. I feel like even if I went to study this at university or something like that, I think I'd still need to study more because things are changing all the time. I mean, look at Vedic. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, that's all I need to say. If you would like to ask me any questions, you can, either in the comments below or on my Twitter, on my Instagram. What else do I share on here? Or on my TikTok. Up to you. And yeah, let's share our experiences of the last 20 years when Pluto was in Capricorn and things were going crazy when it comes to careers. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. This video is probably all over the place, but I wanted to put something up. I wanted to put something up because I haven't been recording on YouTube. Twitter, TikTok is just so much simpler. I literally just take my phone and I'm like, and then I'm done. So this is yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way, love and light and progress. Oh my god, I wish you so much the goodness of this world. Okay, let's try view life as the the optimistic side of life. Let's try view the optimistic side of life instead of the pessimistic side, because honestly, majority of the things we ask for, we actually get. So if you're in a bind, baby girl, it's probably your fault. Just saying. Love you.